Horror drama show Hellbound released this year and immediately made a dedicated fan base. But now that many are done watching the first season, they look forward to when or if a second one will come out. There's some good news. Keep watching this video for all the details Hellbound's creator Yeon Sang-ho has revealed about a second season, and more. What do Hellbound's first season's ratings look like, and why is there hope for a second season? Hellbound, which is an action-packed sci-fi series with an often violent storyline, released over a month ago in November. It has since continued to climb the charts worldwide and currently is Netflix's second most streamed foreign language show. Squid Game comes in third. The show's dark and mysterious themes are probably why its popularity has skyrocketed over the only month that it's been out in the world. In the very first episode, viewers are put through a tortuous scene where terrifying demons shoot into soul and obliterate a man to death. This man, as they imply, is a sinner, and they take it upon themselves to condemn him to hell. The premise of the show follows these angels who hunt down humans who commit any kind of evil and seal their fate. But there's a twist as well. On Earth, there's a group of individuals called the New Truth who support these creatures and their strife for justice. They're led by Jung Jin-soo, the evil grandmaster behind the whole thing. If that plot stimulated your interest, just know that it did so for many others who've binge-watched this show on Netflix and catapulted into the top 10. And with a viewership that looks like this, it's easy to see why Netflix could announce a second season anytime now. Though nothing's been confirmed yet, Netflix's usual policy around these things also suggests that there's going to be a season 2. It may take some time to release it, but the announcement could come anytime soon, so we should all be hopeful. What are Hellbound's origins? You might not know this, but Hellbound was originally a two-part animated film. It was extended to become a webtoon for Korean platform Naver. The webtoon then gave way to an entire live-action series, which was immediately signed by Netflix. Show's creator and the genius behind films like Train to Busan and the more recent Peninsula told Variety. During the process of planning and creating the cartoon for Hellbound, we talked about wanting to create a live-action series. However, the webtoon started to stream on the platform when I was actually shooting the film Peninsula. Before that, we had just been talking about a live-action series, but after the webtoon began on the platform, Netflix and I began to discuss creating it into a live series. Yeon's Train to Busan also had a similar origin. It followed an animated film called Soul Station that had the same premise. What's the deeper meaning behind Hellbound's plot? Is there one? Yeon Sang-ho has also come out about the themes that are seen in his thriller show Hellbound. He said that when he and his partner Kyo Seok were thinking of a story for the original show, they thought of a universe full of supernatural occurrences. He went on to talk about prophecies and things that would take place in this supernatural universe. They brainstormed all the things they could adjust into such a universe and selected the ones that would fit best into the storyline adjacent to one another. But at the same time, Yeon said that he wanted characters that felt natural and authentic too. So the characters we see are made to feel ordinary to us on purpose. Yeon wasn't going for something that would seem outright out of a fantasy, so he and his partner tried their best to strike a balance between the supernatural universe they wanted and the human-seeming characters they would like in the show. He finally described the show as something comparable to a simulation game. Yeon was also questioned about the fact that Hellbound has a number of protagonists. He said that the universe they've created in the show can be compared to hell, where many different people have many different convictions. And that explains the multiple protagonists that are found within Hellbound. What has Yeon Sang-ho said about making a season 2 of Hellbound? Yeon was asked whether he would fulfill his vision to create a Yeon-iverse type situation with his storytelling. This would obviously include finishing Hellbound and expanding his cinematic universe so it reaches new levels. Yeon said that he wants to do that very much. He reflected on his experience working with Netflix and said that he was given the creative freedom to execute what he had in mind, and everything else was taken care of by the streaming platform. He said that he and Kyo Seok have decided that the story would follow the webtoon, but they're yet to decide whether they would make the story that'll come afterwards into another live-action series. Although he didn't confirm whether there's going to be a season 2, he did say that discussions might be possible, and they'll obviously be the prerequisite that anything being decided. He did enjoy working with Netflix, so it's possible that if a second season's brought up, he'll agree to creating it. Now on to what Yeon had said about a third zombie Zombie Movie for a Train to Busan trilogy. So all you might know that Peninsula, which released last year, was a zombie sequel to Train to Busan. And if you love Peninsula, what would be better than a third zombie movie that would make Train to Busan a trilogy? Yeon has talked about such a film. He started by saying that he thinks that the zombie genre is very old, but if a filmmaker brings something of their own to it, it can become completely new. He said, personally, I do have some ideas in terms of further development of what happens after Peninsula, but as for whether I'll create that into a film, it's something that I do want to do. That should be very exciting, right? But then we went on to say, however, because there are a lot of productions that I'm working on currently, I'm thinking that I have a sort of organize the ideas and work on what I have to work on. Up until now, I've been someone who's been an individual creator. These days, I'm thinking that maybe I need to come up with a system in order to really bring all my creative visions to life. Who knows? Maybe Yeon will find a new way to bring us the movies and series that we've been meaning to make. Whatever it turns out to be, we hope that Yeon continues to add his unique style to every project we get from him in the future. Is there going to be a TV series for Train to Busan? Train to Busan is perhaps Yeon Sang-ho's most successful release. The zombie apocalypse train station horror movie follows the story of a father who takes his daughter to Busan. But things go horribly wrong, and the father, that's played by Gong Yoo, is shown trying everything in his eventually decomposed hands to protect his daughter. Yeon Sang-ho has been asked whether this blockbuster film will be getting its own TV remake. To this, he said that with Train to Busan's storyline, he thinks it more appropriate to continue it as a film series instead of focusing on TV series. He said that with Train to Busan's premise, it won't exactly be feasible to release it as a Korean language film. So he suggested that it might indeed not be adapted into a television series and would instead remain a film series. He was also asked if a possible new film would be related to the Train to Busan only, or if it would become a part of the Train to Busan and Peninsula universe. He said he wanted to be closer to Train to Busan, but it'll have a premise of its own. In terms of genre, he said it would be a cross between Train to Busan and Peninsula, so it'll truly complete the trilogy. And finally, what does Yeon think about the comparisons to Squid Game that have been made? People have drawn parallels between Hellbound and hit TV show Squid Game. Yeon said that he personally loves Squid Game, but still thinks his show was far different than what it offered. He suggested that such comparisons could be explained by the fact that both Squid Game and Hellbound offer their own things that ordinary people may be able to relate to. In Squid Game, the childhood factor was playing to this role, whereas Hellbound has its own thing. So no, Squid Game and Hellbound are not all that similar, but if you felt that way, the thing Yeon mentioned could have been the reason. Let's keep the two separate and appreciate the storylines and executions of both without making comparisons. That was it for today's video. What do you think about a sequel to Peninsula? Would you like one? Or do you think Yeon should focus on more unique projects now? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for similar videos in the future. We'll see you in the next one.